Welcome to your academy. At your academy, we have been dealing with the General Prologue to the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. We have already dealt with the introductory lines of the General Prologue, and now we are into the characters of the General Prologue, because the General Prologue mostly is about the portraits, is about the characters which are discussed by Geoffrey Chaucer, who are going on a pilgrimage, and he began the characterization of those characters with knight. So today in this lecture we will deal with the knight. If you want to watch the lecture on the initial lines of the prologue, you can check out this link that has popped up at the top of the video. So let's take up the portrait of the knight. A knight there was, and he a worthy man, who from the moment that he first began to ride about the world loved chivalry. A knight there was, a worthy man. Now what you have to keep in mind as you start studying the characters from the General Prologue is to keep a close look at the adjectives that Geoffrey Chaucer would be using, the choice of the adjectives, because these adjectives would not be same for every character that he discusses. And again, as I said earlier in the earlier lecture, that these views, these opinions that we are going to know, are the information that we are going to get about these characters is subjective, is as they appear to the Chaucer. He has not met them. They were sundry persons. They had come from sundry lands. They were varied persons coming from varied lands. Nobody knew each other, and he had told us earlier that they chanced to fall in each other's fellowship, in each other's company. So they don't know one another. So even our poet does not know about them, but he still observes them, and as they appeared to him, he would tell us. So how did knight appear to him? As a worthy man. He was a worthy man, and further, who from the moment that he first began to ride about the world loved chivalry. And right from his early days, early adulthood, when he began to ride the horses, he loved chivalry. What is chivalry? Chivalry is, respecting women. Is a knight respecting woman, so he loved to respect women. Now two things have been said about this poet at the very beginning. Two observations. One, he is a worthy man. Secondly, he is chivalric. Now why is the poet, or Chaucer for that matter, so good towards knight, is because Chaucer himself was also a knight. That could be one of the reasons that he is talking good about knight. Secondly, knight in the feudal society were high ranked people. They would come next to the king, so they were worthy men. So poet says that he was a worthy man, and he loved chivalry, truth, honor, freedom, and all courtesy. As I said earlier, look at the choice of adjectives: truth, honor, courtesy, freedom. These are the things that he loved. He loved to be truthful, and he loved truth. He loved honor. He honored others and loved to be honored. He loved freedom. Whether he did that or not, in feudal society, freedom, but he loved, and he loved courtesy. Full worthy was he in his liege lord's war. Now these liege lord's war would be, in the feudal society, these knights were owned by the lords. So he was a worthy knight. He was honored, he was respected by his lord also. And therein had he ridden none more for as well in Christendom as heathenness. And he was not only worthy, he was not only chivalric, but he had gone through the world as far as Christendom and heathenness. He had visited, or he had traveled the Christian lands. Christendom would be the lands which were controlled or ruled by the Christians, and heathenness would be the lands, the countries, the cities which were ruled by non-Christians. So he had been to the Christian lands and he had been to the heathen lands, to the non-Christian lands, and honored everywhere for worthiness. And wherever he went, he was honored for his worthiness, for his chivalry, for his love for honor, for his love for truth, for his love for courtesy, for his love for freedom. At Alexandria he was when it was won. Now from here onwards, what we will have a list of various places where knight has gone and fought for the Christian faith, fought as a crusader or fought as a knight, fought in various wars. So here would be a long list of those places, and the first one is Alexandria, which is a place in Egypt. This place, the Alexandria, was captured by the Christians in 1365. So one of the references that Geoffrey Chaucer gives of the wars that the knight had fought is in Alexandria, a city in Egypt. Then he says, full of the table's rooster he would begin. Now if you want to know about this knight, you will have a long rooster, long menu about the places that he had visited. First, he was in Alexandria. Above all nations, knights in Prussia, in Latvia raided he, and Russia, no Christianed man so oft of his degree. Now again, there are three places that he has talked about: Prussia, Latvia, and Russia. Now this Prussia and Latvia, these are the places in the Baltic Sea coast. Now this Baltic Sea coast is a sea which falls into the Atlantic Ocean, and this comes in Europe. So these are two places, particularly the Prussia and Latvia, which are the cities or countries near Baltic Sea, and then there is Russia. So he says that this knight had been to these three places, and no Christian man, there was no Christian soldier who was as good as this knight, who has as great status as this knight. One of the reasons was that he had a great moral character, and other perhaps that he had fought in so many wars for the Christianity. In for Granada at the siege was he of Algeciras, and in Belmere at Ayash was he, and at Setalia when they were won. Now again, there are a number of places that he has referred to. Granada. Granada was the capital city of Muslim Spain, and when that was conquered, when the siege was laid on that country or city, he was there. Where? In Granada. Then there is a reference to Algeciras. Now this is a port city in Granada. So he was there also. In Algeciras also, obviously these would have been conquered simultaneously, the Granada, Algeciras. And in Belmere. Now this Belmere is a city which we can say is the present day Morocco. Now when Christians fought there, he was there also, and he was also at Ayash was he, and at Setalia when they were won. Now both these cities, Ayash, Setalia, are in present day Turkey. Now when Christians fought in Turkey, he was also there. In fact, any war that was fought perhaps in the lifetime of the knight, he was part of that war, as per the observations of Geoffrey Chaucer, because he appeared in that way to Geoffrey Chaucer, because he told us earlier that as they appeared to me, he is not going to ask every individual who you are, how many wars have you fought, where have you been, what is your character. In just one meeting, in just one observation, Geoffrey Chaucer tells us so many things about these characters. And on the Middle Sea, at many a noble meetings chanced to be. In the Middle Sea, in the Mediterranean Sea was he, at the Middle Sea was he, and at all the noble wars, at all the holy wars which were fought for the faith of Christianity, he chanced to be. He was so lucky, he was so fortunate that he was part of it. Of mortal battles he had fought 15. How many battles did he fought? He fought 15 battles. Mortal battle means the battles, the wars fought by men. Men are mortal. So the battles are also mortal. So he fought 15 wars. And he fought for our faith at Tradesmen 3 times in lists, and each time slain his foe. Now Tradesmen is again a name of a place where this knight has fought for the Christian faith. Now every time he fought, every time he slay his foe, he defeated his enemies, he was victorious. This self-same worthy knight had been also at one time with the Lord of Palati against another heathen in Turkey. Now this knight, this great knight who has fought 15 mortal battles, had also fought in Turkey. Palati is again a place in Turkey, and when the Christians fought against these Turkish heathens, now these heathens would either be the Muslims in Turkey, or they could be of any other faith, but they were not, for that matter, Christians, and he fought against them also. Though so illustrious he was, very wise, and bore himself as meekly as a maid. Now his career was illustrious. Surely the way Geoffrey Chaucer has portrayed him, fighting so many wars, and in each war he was victorious. Now if he was victorious, but he was as meek as maid. You know, he would present himself. He was shy. He was humble. He was not arrogant at all. He had no arrogance of all his victories, of all his medals perhaps he had won. He never yet had any vileness said. He did not speak foul language. Vileness means, speaking bad things, speaking ill things, speaking wrong words, wrong things. No, not any vileness said. He had not uttered any bad word from his mouth. In all his life, to whatsoever wit, true, he might have been perhaps 35, 40 years of age, say for example, but in 40 years he has not said any wrong word, any foul word. I don't know how Chaucer knew it, but Chaucer praises him. He appeared to him as such that he must not have spoken any wild word. He was a truly perfect, gentle knight. He was a perfect knight. He was a gentle knight. Why? He was worthy. He loved chivalry. He loved truth. He loved honor. He loved courtesy. He loved freedom. He fought for the faith of Christianity. He fought 15 mortal battles. He slay his foe. He was worthy. So he was a perfect knight. Perhaps here Geoffrey Chaucer is also telling us what a perfect knight is, or who a perfect knight is. But now to tell you of his array, his steeds were good. Now I'll tell you about other things. Now what did he wear? How his horses looked. So his steeds were good, his horses were good, but yet he was not gay. He did not look very happy, or he did not look very clean. He was not putting on very clean clothes, for that matter, or expensive clothes. Of simple fustian wore he a jupon, sadly discolored by his habergeon. Jupon means a kind of a jacket which was worn by, in the medieval times. This is an image of that piece of cloth which was worn at that. And fustian means thick. A thick jacket did he wear, and then he also used the word habergeon. No, habergeon is a sleeveless coat. Now this is an image of habergeon. Now you can make out that what kind of dress our knight was wearing, for he had lately come from his voyage and now was going on this pilgrimage. Now this knight has recently come back from the voyage, and after reaching here, he did not perhaps go to his home but left for the pilgrimage. Now that was the portrait of the knight, and this is what Geoffrey Chaucer had to tell us about knight. Now strangely, he has got a lot of information about knight without asking him, because we have to keep one thing in our mind, is that this poet has already told us, Chaucer has already told us, that as they appeared to me, not as I asked them. Now this is how knight appeared to him. He appeared to him to have fought 15 mortal battles. He appeared to him to have been very worthy. He appeared to him to have been very brave. He appeared to have been victorious every time. And talking about that he was as meek as maid is acceptable, because one can observe that, but he has not said wildness through his life is something that only Geoffrey Chaucer could have known out of the appearance or out of his observation. So whatever the case be, that was the portrayal of the knight from the General Prologue. I hope that you have been able to understand the character of knight, and that is all we have in this lecture at your academy. You can continue watching the lectures on the General Prologue, because next up we would be taking the character of Squire, or the portrait of Squire. To watch the lecture on the portrait of Squire, you can check out this end screen and you can click here to subscribe to your academy. Thank you for watching, and keep watching your academy.